Hello, I'm Alyssa Ardhya, speaking to you on behalf of the IB Digital Squad at the University of Central Florida. I'm joined today by a special guest from Hershey's. We're going to talk a little bit about the company and some of the things that they are looking for in a job applicant. So without further delay, I am pleased to introduce Mr. Thornell.
Thank you so very much for having me be a part of this interview, and look forward to sharing some insights around our company and some of the things that we're looking for in a student candidate for interviewing.
Thank you for being here. So first, would you please tell us about your company and the role you play in it?
Sure. The Hershey Company is a global confection company, $8.1 billion at the end of last year. And so we have some amazing brands. And so really our one of our biggest missions is bringing goodness to the world every day. And we do that through our iconic brands such as Reese's, Hershey, Kit Kat, Jolly Rancher, icebreakers. And a lot of people do not know, but we also have a lot of better for you brands like Brookside and Bark Thins and Pirate Booty in one brand. So we have some amazing brands that we have to take care of. In terms of my role, I've had various functions and role opportunities within the company. Currently, I'm a district sales manager responsible for about $80 million of business within my district. And my primary function is to hire, train, develop, and promote entry-level sales representatives to greater roles in leadership within the organization.
Oh, wow, great. So let's start with this question. When you're looking at a prospective employee's resume, what are some specific skills that Hershey's looks for in a potential hiring candidate?
That's a great question. We really, I'll just tailor it all the way down to leadership skills, and it has to be shown on a resume as best as you can on a resume. So what does that leadership look like? It is leadership in work, leadership in civic organizations, social organizations, and professional organizations. And inherently within a leadership, we have transferable skills like planning and organizing, initiative, personal leadership, teamwork, and collaboration. So I think one of the things that we look at the most on a resume would be leadership.
Oh, yeah, I can see why you're looking for a leadership skill for that position. What are some other things you look for when determining that an interview is warranted?
Another great question. We look for capabilities. And when I say capabilities, it's the balance between what I just mentioned on leadership, be it within work, organizations, etc., along with the ability to handle your schoolwork appropriately. And we're not looking for 4.0 and even 3.8s. I mean, just as long as you have a solid GPA, 3 point or higher, you're able to prove or show on a resume you have leadership as well as the ability to manage your classes effectively. And so that balance is super important. To be candid, if one is out of balance one way or the other, the resume is not as strong.
Would you go to a platform like LinkedIn to find people with that skill or experience? If so, how important is a LinkedIn profile in your hiring process?
LinkedIn is, I use the resume as the primary conduit, but once I determine I want to interview somebody, LinkedIn becomes a great data point of understanding a little bit more about the candidate, be it some of their other career interests and different category interests, personal interests, and stuff like that. So it gives me a better insight into the candidate because of the LinkedIn. So it's super important to keep that updated and have it aligned to your resume. But it is only a data point. The resume really is the key conduit to initially securing an interview. So a few other things that we actually look at, and we'll probably touch base on this a little bit, is around internships. That's super important on a resume. Also for us specifically is involvement in some type of competitive. Being in sales, you're competitive, and so sometimes having some sports in the background or civic organizations where there's some competitive nature to it, it allows not only to show competitive nature, but also how teamwork has played in that competitive nature. And one additional thing I think is important and should be on a resume when I look for resume opportunities is, corporate, like social responsibility and giving back to the community. And that's not a must have, but it's a nice to see because it shows the balance between somebody's career aspirations as well as being able to give back to the community. And I think that balance is super important in a work-life environment.
Right. Okay. Well, that's useful advice. Beyond what's in our backgrounds, are there other things that students interested in working for Hershey's can do to get their foot in the door?
It's some of, I think if a student is pretty proactive in knowing a career field that they're interested in and kind of researching the employers that would match that career field. And then once you have an idea, even in your sophomore year, you're able to start beginning to develop some relationships with some of the recruiters or employers. And that is done while the employers on campus through career like expo or different class or professional organization opportunities for speaking engagements. So I think just being very proactive to start that relationship and develop that relationship is a real key aspect. And that's another thing that they can do to get their foot in the door with employers.
Okay, those are some things we should definitely consider then. So when a prospective employee does an interview there, is there anything you would recommend they do or not do to distinguish themselves in a good way?
Um, I think, when you look at researching the company, and are you speaking like how they reach back out to you or?
When they're doing the interview itself, when they're
Okay.
walking in. Yes.
So I think researching the company and understanding, you don't have to know everything about a company, but have some general background understanding of the company, as well as the role that you're applying for, as well as career roles within that organization. Having more of the questions that a candidate will ask, once you know a little bit more of the background, you can tailor those questions to be more strategic and not just in general. And that is absolutely a strength that I would that could distinguish a candidate in the interview. And then the ability to tailor the skill set as well as your experiences to what the recruiter's looking for. So again, going back to doing a little bit of research, if you're able to tailor better your skills and background to what they're looking for, the chances are it'll be a successful interview. And then really one thing that I don't think everybody does a lot is at the very end, ask for the job. Especially in sales.
Right.
You're trying to get closure, you're trying to convert. And I think asking for the job is really super important. And last but not least, it's dressing professionally and coming really prepared, looking the part is very important as well.
Great. Again, good advice. And finally, do you know if your company has hired a UCF integrated business graduate in the past?
We have.
Oh, what was your impression of their readiness for work and their attitude?
The readiness for work, I think one thing that integrated business students do really well is they're able to share at least this has been my experience, has been able to share their well-rounded business application of education to jobs. And so I think, it's not that if you're going for an accounting job,
Mhm.
you need to talk about your accounting pieces. If you're going for sales, if you have a general understanding of management, sales, finance, accounting, you're able to be more well-rounded. And I have seen that integrated business students that are some of the best are able to use that scope and broad scope that they have of experiences to that interview, which I think have experienced that to be a really strong aspect in selecting for our industry.
Oh, wow, great. Okay, well, thank you. That should conclude the interview. It was very informative. Thank you again for being here, Mr. Thornell.
We really appreciate it. Thank you for reaching out. Uh, the Hershey company is a great opportunity to work and be a part of an industry in the CPG world. But more importantly, we really like to partner with schools like UCF that allow us an opportunity to showcase not only our employment, but build relationships with some of the students there. Thank you very, very much.
Great, thank you. If you'd like to learn more about Hershey's or look for open internships or jobs, check out the link in the description below. For the IB Digital Squad at the University of Central Florida, I'm Alyssa Ardhya, and it's been a pleasure to bring this information to you.